My name is Lesole Tauatswala. I am a curator and a photographer. I work at the Constitutional Hill as the events curator and exhibition coordinator. So as a young curator, my take on the current art world is that, it has become a bit more open. We have younger curators and younger artists and even younger galleries, working together in order to create, access to market platforms for, young artists, young curators, for people to, holistically show their creativity. The curatorial lab has helped and improved my curatorial skills and practice immensely. For instance, it helps you conceptualize an exhibition, helps you with the production, and helps you how to take care of an exhibition when it's ongoing. And this has led to me establishing other initiatives with friends and other partners in the art world in order to develop and conceptualize exhibitions. In my personal journey of platforming young and upcoming artists, some of the themes that I've been seeing emerging are on ideas of identity. We are in a stage where young artists, especially of African descent, are trying to figure themselves out. So we try to create platforms that cater to the youth that are thinking in those kinds of ways. And outside of that, we also try to make space for more experimental works, such as video works, sound installations. So we primarily try to make our scope of interaction with artists as varied and as wide as possible. Because in a country where we have lack of resources, or rather very minimal resources for young artists to work with, we do with what we have in order to create, the most suitable and conducive spaces for young artists to work and operate from. Having been worked with a variety of mediums, as stated, photography, video, paintings, how we end up selecting works for an exhibition, it depends on multiple factors. This can be the space where the exhibition is being held. This can be the concept of the exhibition. And it can even be some of the themes that we are looking at that we want to incorporate in the exhibition. So the selection of work is really specific and sensitive to what we are aiming to do, or rather what the curator is aiming to communicate to the audience. After Curatorial Lab, I've had the fortune of starting a couple of organizations and working with like-minded people. For instance, I've started a small organization with a friend of mine, Sheikh Bolokwan in Cape Town. It's called Studio Location Practice. What we do is that we platform young artists in the visual arts and in the music sector. And in another initiative, I'm part of a collective called Black Block, where we platform young visual artists and we do skills development programs. And in another facet of what I do, I work with community-based organizations. I'm currently working with Of Soul and Joy based in Togoza. What they do is they use photography as a medium to get the youth in the community to speak on things happening to their communities and to reflect, on the journeys that they're on. I see my Limpopo upbringing and my Johannesburg influencing my curatorial experiences in that I get the opportunity of interacting with multiple communities, where different communities, whether in the villages or in the city, interact with culture in their own ways. So in that kind of way, I develop a keen sensibility to the works that people in the villages do and the works that people in the city do, and try to find a middle ground on how to merge the two experiences into creating a holistic experience that is both personal and other people can relate to. In my opinion, it is of paramount importance to have spaces across the province, even across the country, that cater for underrepresented artists, marginalized artists, all-round people who come from disenfranchised circumstances. Because in that way, we craft platforms where everyone feels a sense of accessibility and a promotion and creation of culture that the other people, the country really, and their communities can be reflected in. So we need more spaces where young people, disenfranchised, marginalized, across all contexts, where they can be involved and work towards making or contributing to a society that they believe they should be seeing. Given the post-colonial themes and understandings of the work that I'm trying to do, we are really in a decolonial discompensation. What I'm trying to say by that is that we're in a time where we're re-questioning and trying to reconfigure and understand the structures that have brought us here in terms of whether it's in the economy, whether it's in culture, whether it's in land reforms. So part of my duty is to also have an understanding of what an African aesthetic is, what it means, and how it can look, for future generations, and even currently, how present artists can work within themes that are not dictated by colonial, understandings of what art and culture is. I'm currently studying towards a master's in cultural policy and management, and how I see that relating to my work is that we are able to now interface with arts and culture from a policy level. This is where we are able to see how the government can best implement its policies on arts, culture and heritage. And what that will ultimately do is to kind of have ways of opening up more spaces, for youth, whether it's in Soweto, whether it's in Limpopo, in the deepest of villages, on how they can implement policies of culture and how the youth there can interact with culture. So that is how I see what I'm currently working towards implementing my career. Being part of the 2020 Kampala Biennale has helped me understand the role and reach of culture across provinces, countries and even continents. So being an apprentice of Lawrence Bonvin's studio was a really life-changing experience, because you are able to see how international curators work across different contexts and engage in different kinds of artists in order to speak to a singular theme that is being presented to them. So in that instance, I mean to say that it was a life-changing experience for me. I mean, as we wrap up Youth Month, the advice that I'd give to the youth and the youth that are in the arts, culture and heritage space is that heritage, we need to take control. We need to take part and be active citizens in participating in making sure that our arts, our heritage and our culture is passed down from one generation to another. You only need one person to start. You need a pencil to draw. You just need a paint and a paper. You start from there, and from there you find like-minded people who will help you in, making sure you realize your dream of being an artist and contribute to culture, and significantly contributing, towards the development of our country.